Hi everyone, this is Carol Ann Speaks, The State of Our World, on Monday, September 4th, 2023. So what is it? Good, bad, or indifferent? Well, it's Labor Day. Yes, first Monday in September is Labor Day in the U.S. What's some things happening out there? Okay. Alright, The Great Escape. Saket Sani on forced immigrant labor used to clean up climate disasters in the U.S. When we have a climate disaster in this country, for example, with Hurricane Katrina in 2005, instead of hiring the people who live in the area in Louisiana to do all the cleanup and the repair, a company called Signal, was hired to help with that, and they went to India, the country of India, and hired people to come over here and do the work. They promised them a green card. That didn't work out. They put them into terrible conditions here, and they were in a really bad state. They ended up escaping and going to Washington, D.C. to present their case, but nothing happened. Unfortunately, uh, the the federal government at the time in 2005 didn't really care. Uh, they were hired by corporations to clean up, and they're subjected to grueling working conditions. The shipyard in Mississippi, they're given false promises, uh, and then they finally escaped, and they went to Washington, D.C. They got themselves there, but it's nothing happened. They were 500 workers. Okay, and then nothing happened. They were just abandoned at the work site. Uh, okay. So, unfortunately, Signal was the company, Signal International. They built a labor camp on their company property. They put in some trailers, and they placed them on a toxic waste dump. So, has anything changed? That was in 2005. That was when George Bush, the son, was the president. Has anything changed? I don't think so. But we spent, I don't know how much Signal made. They got a government contract to do this work. And I don't know if they were ever sanctioned for that or not given future contracts. So that is terrible. We have people here who could do the work when disaster strikes, and you shouldn't be hiring a company to go out and recruit uh, people from other countries who will work for very, very little. I think that's a terrible situation. And on Labor Day, especially remembering that on Labor Day, that is terrible. Also, Salvadoran writer Javier Zamora on coping with trauma from being detained and undocumented in the U.S. His uh, father came here from Salvador, and his mother followed, and then he eventually followed with the help of his grandfather, and he got here when he was 9 years old. And our country has relied on immigrants since it was founded. They brought over the original colonists came over here, and well, they did not really befriend the Indians. The goal was afterwards to basically wipe out the Native Americans, and then there were British colonists, and the British uh, had this system called you could pay for your passage by working until the work was done. You had like a contract. Um, you were um, kind of hired. Person who paid for your passage basically had control of you for a period of time, years, and now we have all these issues with immigration. They want the people to do the work. They don't want to pay them. They don't want them living here. The North America, the United States, was indigenous land. Indigenous people lived here. There were no white people. The British came over, and it's at the same time the Dutch came over and the Spanish. And anyway, the situations were terrible. They wanted people to work for nothing. So we had people come here as colonists, and they try to make a life for themselves. They were still British citizens, and um, so they they started. They brought slaves in from Africa. The British government was very involved with slavery. They brought slavery to a lot of their areas in the Caribbean and here from Africa. And the people who came here had a contract to work a certain amount of time. They were called indentured servants. So our country was built on the labor of immigrants, of slaves, of indentured servants. And we should have we are a nation of immigrants. I am a first generation Hungarian American. My parents came here from Hungary before World War II. And I am here representing them as a Hungarian. So, we really owe the everything this country has created to the work of slaves. The White House was built with slaves. Some universities, famous universities, was built by slaves. They built the economy, the slave economy. So everyone here has the right to live here forever. Everyone, I believe, is a citizen by virtue of having been brought here against their will, worked here, stayed here, and they're all citizens in my eyes. You can't, they brought people in from, to build the railroad, and after the railroad, they brought Chinese people here, and then when the railroad was finished, the white people wanted the workers who were Asian to leave. They brought people to Hawaii to work on, what do you call it, pineapple plantations, sugar plantations. They brought people here to Cuba to work on sugar plantations. So, very sad situation. But basically, no one should be a slave. We're all God's creatures. Now, hang on a moment. Okay, I'm back. Like to sing a little song I wrote. Dark blue sky, white clouds, how pretty they are. The white clouds are floating on a canvas of blue, like the blue ocean and the white caps. Dark blue sky, white clouds, how pretty they are. Tides roll in and the tides roll out, building the waves higher and higher. The surfers are waiting on the beach. The boards are ready, sitting in the sand, waiting for the big one so they can go out. Dark blue sky, white clouds, how pretty they are. Okay, hope you like that. Thank you for tuning in. this evening of Monday, September 4, 2023, for another meeting of Carolyn Speaks Tateville World. Hope you join us in the future. In the meantime, stay safe, wear a mask, practice social distancing. The vaccine's available and right for you to take it. We had ours. And remember, kindness goes a long way, a very long way. And signing off on Monday, September 4th, 2023. Thank you. Good night. Stay safe.